Hello, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. I apologize for my throat. Normally I would wait until my voice doesn't sound so horrible to do the commentary on this, but I'm afraid patch 8.6 is going to drop pretty soon, and so I really want to get the commentaries for the videos I have completed because I don't know how to back up the client for old replays, and frankly I don't want to do that. So I'm going to try to get my commentaries knocked out, kind of a rain or shine thing, so I just had to put up with my scratchy throat. Right now we're going to look at a encounter battle on El Haloof in the T34 Tier 8 American Premium Heavy Tank. This is a really, really good premium tank. It follows with the logic of the T29 and the T32 with the poorly armored hull and heavily armored turret. And similar to the M103 and the T110E5, this is very much a gun tank. Your strong suit in the T34 is your extreme penetration. For a Tier 8, this tank has really high penetration. It's about 250. Although, during this replay, when you see me bouncing off IS-6s, you'd have a hard time telling that I have 250 pen. But anyway, I really like this tank. This is a great moneymaker. I enjoy playing it, and I play it quite a lot. Plus, I use it for crew training for my T110E5. All right, so let's get the battle rolling. You can see that we're in a Tier 8 match on El Haloof. As I said, it is an encounter battle, and there's a couple of things I want to point out straight away. This tank does not get preferential matchmaking, meaning that you can get into matches that are anywhere from Tier 8 maximum up to Tier 10 maximum, and the Tier 10 battles are pretty common. And because this thing has the high pen gun, you can deal damage to Tier 10s, but it's a pretty rough environment. You tend to run into a lot of Tier 8 arty. They'll one-shot you. But in this match, the matchmaking is pretty good. There's just a few Tier 8s. Well, I guess it's about 7 Tier 8s. And then a couple of Tier 7s, some scouts and artillery. I don't really like El Haloof. El Haloof is a camp map. Like, no two ways about it. This map is for camping, and I hate camping. I like to play aggressively. I like to press the assault. I like to press the assault even in things that aren't often that good at assaulting. I like to take tank destroyers and be at the forefront of an attack, and when people ask me why I do it, I tell them that I'm putting the assault back into the assault gun. So, bearing that in mind, I'm coming up to the campy spot, and we're gonna quickly pause for a second. Okay, so rolling with me, an IS-3, an IS-6, a KV-1S, a Tiger who is armed with the stock turret and the 75mm gun. Actually, that looks like the 88mm gun. And a Super Pershing. We're all coming up here. There is one enemy in the capture circle. And since I have XVM installed, whenever anyone is in a cap circle, it tells me how many are in the cap circle and how long it's going to take for the enemy to cap. You can see right here that it's going to take 3 minutes and 38 seconds. It takes 4 minutes with a single person to do a full capture on an encounter battle. It's only a 15-minute long match. 4 minutes is an eternity. That capper, the guy in the cap circle, needs to be ignored. We got a Hummel and we got a Gorilla. If somebody detects that one guy capping anytime in the next minute, the arty will take care of it. So these three people up in front of me right here, they need to not be doing what they are doing. all three of those tanks have inaccurate guns and bad gun depression. The KV-1S is armored with a sheet of tinfoil, and they are going to be incredibly exposed to artillery and snipers. If those guys go to try and reset the cap, they're going to kill themselves for the entire purpose of achieving nothing. I'm telling them to ignore the cap, they're ignoring me. If anyone is going to be resetting that cap, it should be artillery, or it should be a tank like me or the Super Pershing, which has strong turret armor and good gun depression. You can see the KV-1S has ignored me and is essentially dead. And the IS-6 is losing health, and I've found myself an IS-6 to shoot at. Now, the IS-6 has a weak turret, so I'm trying to exploit that weak turret by firing at this guy's turret. As you can see, I've bounced. Now, our IS-6 has decided that it is a good idea to drive straight into that capture circle, to where he is completely in the open and at the mercy of Ardian snipers in order to engage a tier 6 medium that isn't any threat to anyone at all. That's what we call poor tactical decision making. So what I'm doing is I'm taking advantage of my strong turret armor and good gun depression to actually try and fight these IS-6s and this Tiger II. This Tiger, he needs to back up. He's not going to be able to do anything there. He won't even be able to penetrate these guys. I honestly don't think that gun could penetrate the front armor of any of these tanks anywhere. So that Tiger's just sitting in the open, getting shot by artillery, side on towards the enemy. The guy right now, that Tiger's just making himself into just a big bag of credits for somebody to come and collect. So I'm actually doing the same thing a little bit here. These IS-6s have suckered me into coming around the corner too far, and they've been able to put shots into my hull. And I would like to note that that second IS-6 hit did 450 damage. I wish I could get a high damage roll like that. Both of my hits have been really low, 300 and 320, so that's pretty bad. I just accidentally shot the rocks in disgust at my team for freaking out about the capture. We've lost an IS-6, a KV-1S, and I think that well, the Luke's is really immaterial, but now that Super Pershing is going off to die, we're just hemorrhaging tanks because of something that's a non-issue. Right now, I'm backing up because I think there's a chance I might be able to shoot at that T34, and also I'm worried about this AMX 1375. He's disappeared, I fire, my shot deviates, so no joy on that. It looks like the Super Pershing is actually going to take this T69 out. I realize right now that I'm too far exposed around that rock, and at any rate, there's nothing for me to shoot at anymore, so I move back over to square off with this IS-6 who's getting ballsy. Now keep that 1375 in mind. He was a really good player. I've chosen the location that I have right now to fight these IS-6s because if they crest the hill, this little lump here will help cover my hull. So I'm trying to use that for some partial cover. The Tiger II comes over and I'm not able to fire. I'm not able to fire at the IS-6 either. I wanted to fully aim my gun so that they couldn't come up during my long reload, so I chose to not fire. Now, I just had a shell from the 1375 bounce off the back of my turret. That's one thing about the T34 that is really good, is the rear of the turret is almost as well armored as the front of the turret. So if you are being attacked from behind in the T34 by something with a weak gun like a 1375 at range, if just the back of your turret is showing, you're probably okay. So what I did is I moved forward so that 1375 could only hit the back of my turret. And you can see that his fourth shot bounced off. Now the IS-3 seems to be interpreting this as I'm about to rush, because watch what happens. I go around to try and shoot at this disabled IS-6. I manage to lure out the IS-6 for a shot, and I fire at him and back up. Now I have no plan to go around that corner, but when your teammates do something, you need to back them up, or else their death is completely wasted. So this IS-3 is making a YOLO run, and that, I might add, is incredibly stupid. But while he's making this retard charge, the enemy's guaranteed to focus on him, so I'm going to use basically his retardation to my advantage, and I'm going to shoot at these guys. Now my first shot bounced off the Tiger 2, which really surprised me, because I'm shooting down on his armor, so the angle is decreased, which lowers the effective thickness. And it's only a 150 millimeter plate, and I have 250 pen, so I really felt like I should have been able to easily pen. So that IS-3 has just given up himself, and essentially what he just did is he traded his health, all of it, and all of mine except for 37 health, in order to kill a Tiger 2 and wound an IS-6. And by dying, we're now in a horrible position. I got 37 health left. It's me, a half health Churchill, and a half health Ferdinand. Against that, we are just screwed. So again, I am pulling back. We don't have any artillery, so I can't stay forward and count on artillery support. What I want to do is I want to pull back behind these lumps in the ground ahead of me so that I can get hauled down. And I want to wait for that IS-6 to come up and engage me, because both of us are at such low health levels that whoever gets in the first shot will win. I want to get in the first shot. So I'm gonna get into an ambush position. The IS-6 will be expecting me to be where I just was, and if I'm not there, he's probably going to think I've completely retreated. And you can see we've just lost our Ferdinand. He went into a very, very dumb position. You can see the wreck of the Ferdinand right here. I think he's behind this rock. Those rocks look like they might actually be good cover, but you can see that they're not very tall. This is essentially like sitting in flat ground, and you have very little cover above you, so you're completely in the open to artillery. You're in direct line of sight to the enemy base, so you can be detected very easily. It's basically like parking yourself in a field, except it doesn't look like a field. It looks deceptive. It looks like it might be good cover. So that Ferdinand just drove into a terrible spot and paid the price for it. So now it's me and a Churchill 7 against these guys, and I've only got 37 health. It's not looking good at all. Something detected me while that Ferdinand was over dying, so I'm worried about the 1375. I actually turn around to look for the 1375, and right at that moment the IS-6 comes, and he spots me. I fire at him, and my shot deviates, and instead of hitting the center front part of his armor, I hit one of the cheeks, which are really sloped and angled, and that causes my shot to bounce. Now, I just got really lucky. The 1375 shot my track. So at this point, I have to move forward against the IS-6, because if the 1375 presses, he'll kill me. So I try to move forward and kill the IS-6, but I bounce again. That tank is very well armored. Even with a high penetration gun like mine, you have to be careful. The IS-6 he's a tough nut to crack. When you have the luxury of time to actually carefully aim, it's not that big of a deal to kill one of those things. But when you need to snapshot or take partially aimed shots, it can be much more difficult. Now, what I'm doing right here is I'm thinking about how I want to fight these guys. I know there's a 1375 lurking around somewhere. I know there was an ISU 152 last spotted over here camping. I know there's 2 artillery. I also know there's 2 people in the cap circle. So I decide that I'm going to come over here and try to stop the cap, because that cap circle is fairly open. There's not a lot of cover in it. So I know that if I move over here, I can spot for myself from partial cover. There's already cover for me to back up into. I should be able to hold off the cap for quite a while. There's also avenues of escape for me to move into other places and keep fighting. So I just saw the M41 move into the cap. They're now triple capping. So I know they're capping with an M41, but I don't know what else. I see the ISU. He's not fully upgraded, but he's still a big threat. So I choose to shoot at him. Also, I know the M41 only just moved into the cap circle, so I'm thinking that the ISU must have most of the capture points, so I target him first. This Tiger with 38 health, I can easily remove his gun from play, and he does have this sniper capability to cause me problems with my low health, even from that far away. So I take him out instead of some of the others. Now right here, I thought about coming around this way, just so that I wasn't constantly poking from the same spot. But I decided that time was of the essence, and that I could eliminate the M41 from where I was more easily. So I've now got the cap down, and you can see that the cap has been going from there being only 1 to 2 in it, which tells me that the 1375 is around here somewhere, but that he's not really in play. So I kill the ISU, and this is where things get dicey. This 1375, he just needs to put 1 shot into me, and I need to kill him. So what I'm doing with this rock is, by backing up, when I'm backing up like that, I'm trying to get a favorable angle, because I'll never be able to just drive around the rock and catch him. So what I need to do is I need to create a favorable angle where I can shoot him, basically. In a situation like this, I would honestly rather that one team won instead of there being a draw. And even if my team doesn't win because I get killed, in a situation like this, where a huge percentage of the work going into a potential win was done by me, I feel like I have the right to throw away the draw going for everything. So a lot of people in this situation would be playing for a draw and hoping to avoid a defeat. In this case, I want to play for a win and hope to avoid a draw. I would rather lose than draw. When my team is populated by morons like that IS-3, that KV-1S, and that IS-6, half the time I don't even want to win because they don't deserve it. So what I'm trying to do is, I realized that the 1375, he's not going to fall for the old back away from the rock type thing. So what I actually start doing is I actually start chasing him. And the reason why I start chasing him is because I know I'll never catch him, and he knows I'll never catch him too. So by starting a chase, I'm giving him the opportunity to take advantage of my poor speed. I want this guy to come take a shot at me, because honestly I want to win or die. And you can see right here, he catches me while I try to type, so I abandon typing, run into the wreck. Turns out this guy was out of ammo. He just tried to ram kill me. And you can see the clock up in the corner, there's 14 seconds left. I've got 14 seconds to kill this guy. And I got him. Now, what I didn't notice, look at that SU-5. He's still alive. Game's not over. It's not a victory. I didn't notice that until watching the replay right now. And here's part of why. let's take a look at post-battle results. So here are my post-battle results. You can see draw, battle time expired. That's a disappointment. But it's not all bad. Managed to get Steel Wall, Top Gun, Sniper, Defender, and I think that's a Spartan award. I'm not really sure. I don't really care about those very much. They're a dime a dozen. I don't get Defender a lot because I play a lot of offense. I'm pretty quick to come back and defend the base when I see that the lines are broke, but I'm usually all the way forward in the enemy base or dead. So I don't get Defender a lot, so Defender's a pretty big deal for me. I love getting Top Guns. It's like the greatest medal ever. Snipers are a dime a dozen. I take careful aim and only fire good shots, basically, so I get Sniper all the time. And Steel Wall is always fun, especially when you're in a tank that really only has good armor on 2 out of 8 faces, so that's kind of nice. You can see that I got 106,795 credits. Down here you can see 76,500 profit, that's good. Did 3,600 damage and 1,000 detection damage, it's pretty good. 86% hit ratio, that's pretty good. 2,589 experience, yeah, I'll take that. It's a draw for crying out loud. So here's the team scores. You can see this was basically a match pitting me and the Jagdpanther 2 against the M41 and the 1375. So, I mean, this guy right here, Taz 1969 for you, this guy played really, really well. Carrying a Tier 8 match in an AMX 1375 is a feat. And doing it on El Helif is an even bigger feat. Like, that guy, I had a good game, that guy had a better one. And here's the thing that really threw me for a loop. When I saw that this was a draw, I looked at my post-battle results screen, and it doesn't show whether or not people are dead or alive anymore. Well, yeah, it does. It shows me as alive, but this guy shows up as dead. Like, what the hell's going on? I really thought that it had been a victory during the match, and I was really let down. On the individual results screen, you can see that I fired 22 shots, 19 hits, only 12 penetrations. I had one bounce off the Tiger 2 that I thought was a real load of hooey. With his armor and my penetration, plus the fact that he wasn't angled and that I was firing down, which reduces the effect of his sloping, really thought that should have gone in. I also had some bounces where I was aiming at the IS-6s and the shots didn't go where I aimed, and so they hit more sloped armor or better angled armor, causing bounces. I really had trouble with those IS-6s, which is unusual. Normally the T34 just blows straight through them. But in this match, I think I bounced 6 shots off one IS-6, so that's definitely not just blasting straight through. You can see that I received potential 4,985 damage with 15 hits received. That's a pretty impressive with a T34, because it only has 1,500 health, and it's very susceptible to artillery fire. I took a big hit from Artie near the end where I lost about 500 health. So losing 500 health to an Artie and still taking 15 hits and not dying is really impressive. Especially since I really only have armor on my gun mantlet and the back of my turret. So yeah, I was happy with that. If that battle had been a victory, my rewards would have been substantial, considering that they were already substantial. One thing that's interesting is there's an event on the North American server right now called Operation Defender, where you get 1,250 experience added to your total for getting the Defender medal, which I didn't know about until now, which is why I got so much experience. But I think I did a calculation to see what I would have made if that had been a victory, and I think the way it works is your unmodified credits and your unmodified experience when you earn a victory are multiplied by multiplied by 0.5, so you get 150% of this and this as your base credits and experience, and then with a premium account it adds another 50% of the base, and that's your total. So with premium on a victory, I would have earned 160,193 credits and 3,260 experience, not doubled for the, like, this was not my first win of the, it wouldn't have been my first win of the day, so that would have been undoubled experience, but that would have included 1,250 for the Defender event, so it would have only been 2010 experience, but still, for undoubled, 2010 is really good. So, there you have a really, really frustrating, but incredibly hard-fought draw. That was just ridiculous. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I've got some videos from the 8.6 test server that I want to put up, but I'm having trouble getting them to actually replay, so I'll be working on that later. Hopefully I'll be able to put those up soon. I want to get those put up too. But until then, that's all for now. So Captain Dorja here, and just remember guys, you can never have enough big guns.